By 192 AD, the Colosseum is over a century old. Emperor Commodus has a surprise. He's the headline bout, fighting as a gladiator.
Gladiators were at the lowest strata of free Romans. They had no legal personality. They were in the same category as prostitutes and pimps. So for a Roman emperor to try to leverage the popularity of gladiators by becoming one is a shock.
For Commodus, the Colosseum would become an obsession, a place that would play a pivotal role in his rise and fall.
After inheriting a vast and powerful empire from his father, the great Marcus Aurelius, Commodus is at odds with the ruling class of Rome, the Senate.
The senators remain the most powerful body of people, the very embodiment of the elite of Rome. The Senate would always be the rallying place of opposition.
The Roman elite was ashamed of Commodus's actions. They felt that to fight as a gladiator was to willingly debase himself. This was the tipping point in an already fractured relationship between the two most powerful forces in Rome, the emperor and the Senate. Every one of these senatorial families has holdings all over the Roman Empire. They're the equivalent of small multinational corporations. They are wealthy in a way that is impossible for us to understand. So even if the heart of political power has moved elsewhere, these are still tremendously important people. And so the Senate is dangerous.
Several emperors had previously been destroyed by their enemies in the Senate, including the notorious leaders Caligula, Nero, and Domitian.
The history of Rome's emperors shows that it's pretty dangerous to cross the Senate. But Commodus had a plan, and it really was to ignore the Senate and to appeal directly to the people.
To win the people over, Commodus has an incredible tool at his disposal. He has the games.
Less than a year into his reign, Commodus throws lavish games to celebrate the end of his father's barbarian wars.
Because it was such an important event, the imperial family, such as his sister Lucilla, would be there. And of course, the Senate themselves, so they would have been witness to this event. For the Senate, they understand that this is an absolute joke. Triumphal games were put on at the end of great wars fought for many years, wars that established the power of Rome. This was the opposite of that, and yet here he was parading himself as some sort of triumphant general.
But it's not the Senate Commodus is trying to impress.
Emperors could communicate with the people in the Colosseum. In those days, you didn't see the emperor very much, except at triumphs after great victories abroad, and in the Colosseum, where he appeared in his box. And the crowd had a chance to express what they thought of him, too.
The Colosseum fostered an active, dynamic relationship between the people and the emperor. And one can imagine thousands and thousands of people chanting what they want, encouraging the emperor in what he's doing, in sponsoring and being generous, and putting on a show for them.
It was kind of like a contract. I am giving these games to you. You need to honor me.
It's extraordinary for an emperor to take to the sands himself. This is not something that's expected of elites, let alone the emperor. Gladiators use their bodies to please the masses. So they are like prostitutes. They are like actors.
It would have been hard for the ruling class to accept any of Commodus's actions. They were cultured people, they were educated people. And so the fact that one of them would degrade himself to that degree that he's going to present himself in the same profession of the scum of the scum.
According to Cassius Dio, Commodus charges the bankrupt Roman treasury 1 million sesterces for his appearance, almost $10 million in today's money.
After the games, Commodus embarks on a still grander project. He intends to rebuild Rome with himself at the center.
He renames Rome Colonia Commodiana, the colony of Commodus. And we wouldn't believe that this was true if it were not for the fact the coins of Commodus's era show that this was the case. He really did name it after himself.
Commodus goes into overdrive. The Romans are going to be called Commodiani. The Senate is going to be called the fortunate Commodiani Senate. He fills the city with statues of himself, dressed as the god Hercules.
One was a giant figure of an archer, looking very much like the emperor himself, with an arrow aimed right at the front door of the Roman Senate. And if there was ever a louder political message, well, I'm not aware of it.
That could not be tolerated, even by Commodus's world-weary contemporaries.
When Commodus announces yet another games with himself as the star, the Senate know they must act.
Commodus meets his end at the hands of his gladiatorial trainer, at the hands of Narcissus, acting on the orders of the Senate.
There's a sort of poetic irony that in the end, it was the very figure that he so admired, so wanted to be, that put an end to his life.